While Elon Musk is busy electrifying the world and China is flooding the markets with cheap EVs, a sleeping giant just woke up. And they aren't just building a new car. They are rewriting the entire rulebook of transportation. Everyone thinks the internal combustion engine is dead, a relic of the past. But what if I told you that Honda has developed a technology so revolutionary, it makes EVs look obsolete before they've even peaked? Forget everything you know about charging times. Forget range anxiety. Forget massive, heavy batteries that destroy the planet during production. Honda isn't trying to compete in the EV race. Honda is starting a completely different race. One that the Silicon Valley giants didn't see coming. In the last few years, the automotive industry has been suffocated by two letters, EV. Every major launch, every boardroom discussion, every government subsidy revolves around electricity. The propaganda is so strong that we've come to believe there is zero alternative. That if you don't go electric, you're a dinosaur. On the surface, it makes sense. Quiet cars, zero tailpipe emissions, futuristic screens. But there is a dirty secret the EV industry doesn't want you to talk about. The heavy, expensive batteries made from rare earth metals that demand environmental destruction to mine. Is this really the only solution? Is the future just one gigantic battery? Honda doesn't think so. While the entire herd is running off a cliff toward one technology, Honda took a step back. They started working on something so big, so secretive, it challenges the very premise of the EV revolution. Imagine if there was a technology that eliminated the need for petrol, eliminated the hours waiting at a charging station, and made everyday use easier. Would you ignore it? Could the world afford to? This story doesn't start in a sterile high-tech lab. To understand where Honda is going, we have to understand where they came from. Specifically, the man whose hands were always covered in grease. This is not a story of a CEO in a suit. This is the story of Soichiro Honda. Born in 1906, Soichiro didn't just like machines. He understood their soul. While other kids were playing, he was in his father's blacksmith shop, playing with tools, iron, and fire. His true passion wasn't just making things move, it was making them move faster. Soichiro wasn't a businessman. He was a revolutionary tinkerer. His first real step into the industry wasn't a luxury car. It was piston rings, a small, almost invisible engine part. In 1937, he started a small company called Tokai Seiki to supply these parts to Toyota. But life and history had other plans. Then came World War II. In 1944, a bomber attack destroyed his factory. What was left? An earthquake in 1945 flattened. Soichiro was left with nothing. After the war, Japan was broken. Infrastructure was destroyed, and fuel was extremely scarce. People were desperate for cheap, reliable transportation. This is where genius meets necessity. In 1946, Soichiro stumbled upon surplus military generator engines. Most people saw junk. Soichiro saw an opportunity. In a stroke of pure brilliance, he attached one of these engines to a bicycle. It was rudimentary. It wasn't beautiful, but it worked. This wasn't just a motorized bicycle. It was the birth of an empire. In 1948, Honda Motor Company was officially founded. That simple, greasy idea exploded. Soon, Honda motorcycles weren't just transporting people. They were winning races, breaking world records, and stunning the global automotive community. The world learned that Japan couldn't just copy. They could engineer some of the most reliable and powerful machines on Earth. When Honda eventually entered the car market, their philosophy was different. They didn't just build a body and fit an engine underneath. The engine was the heart. Their philosophy propelled them from a small shop to a global force synonymous with quality. Today, Honda is one of the world's largest engine manufacturers. Their engineering is everywhere, from motorcycles to Formula One racers. This massive global success is built on a single philosophy: reliable, practical technology. Honda doesn't overcomplicate. They win by being smart. Look at the Accord, a car that millions trust implicitly. People don't buy a Honda because it's flashy. They buy it because they know it will run for decades. This forward-thinking mindset is what brings us back to today. In the 1970s, when new emissions laws strangled other car makers, Honda quietly dropped the CVCC engine, meeting standards without a sweat. Then came VTEC, extracting impossible performance from small engines. They were among the first to bring hybrids to the US at a time when eco-friendly meant slow and boring. Now, Honda is at its biggest turning point. They are looking at the EV market, a market full of long charging times, increasing battery waste, and limited range, and they are choosing to build a different future. A future not based on massive lithium packs, but on the lightest, most abundant element in the universe: hydrogen. But why would Honda go this path when the whole world is shouting EV? The answer is simple: because they refuse to follow the crowd. While the rest of the world was obsessed with plugging into the grid, Honda was quietly experimenting with the most abundant element in the universe. But why? To understand Honda's rebellion, we have to look at the cracks in the EV dream. On the surface, electric cars look like a perfect fairy tale. No engine noise, no smoke, just plug in and go. Governments have accelerated this shift with massive tax breaks and subsidies, even threatening to ban petrol engines entirely within the next decade. For a while, it seemed like the debate was over. Batteries improved, charging times dropped, and EVs became the ultimate status symbol. From Ford to Hyundai, everyone is racing to release new electric models like they're the latest smartphones. But behind the glossy screens and quiet motors, there is a side of the story that most people ignore. First, there's the battery problem. Batteries don't last forever. They are incredibly heavy and packed with materials like lithium and cobalt, minerals that are toxic to extract and devastating to the environment. And when a battery finally dies, there is still no global, clean solution for how to dispose of them. Then comes the biggest headache of all: charging. Filling a tank with petrol takes 5 minutes. Charging an EV can take hours. Even with fast chargers, the range anxiety is real. Every long road trip becomes a tactical mission to find the next available plug. And let's talk about the cost. Despite subsidies, EVs are expensive. Plus, as more people switch to electric, the strain on our aging power grids will cause bills to skyrocket. This is where Honda decided to take a step back. They saw the flaws in the one-size-fits-all battery future. They wanted to avoid the waste, the rare metal dependency, and the charging frustration. Their solution: a middle ground that makes much more sense. Hydrogen. The biggest advantage of hydrogen is pure simplicity. When you use it, the only thing that comes out of the exhaust is clean, pure water. No smoke, no smell, no carbon. Just life-sustaining H2O. Honda didn't just wake up with this idea yesterday. They've been perfecting it for decades. Back in 2015, they shocked the industry with the Honda Clarity fuel cell. Unveiled at the Tokyo Motor Show, this wasn't just a concept car. It was a real vehicle that Japanese and American customers could actually buy. The Clarity was designed from the ground up to be a hydrogen machine. Its fuel cells were compact, powerful, and didn't compromise on the driving experience. It had a range of 360 miles on a single tank, which, at the time, blew most EVs out of the water. It was quiet, smooth, and incredibly efficient. So why didn't the Clarity take over the world? The technology was brilliant, but the world wasn't ready. Hydrogen stations were almost impossible to find unless you lived in very specific parts of California or Japan. For the average driver, the fear of running out of fuel was greater than the love for the tech. At the same time, EVs had the marketing power, the government support, and the hype. The Clarity remained a masterpiece of engineering that stayed in the shadows of the EV hype machine. In 2021, Honda made the tough choice to discontinue it. But make no mistake, this wasn't a surrender. It was a strategic retreat. Honda spent that time learning, improving, and waiting for the right moment. They knew that the EV-only path would eventually hit a wall. Now they are back with a vengeance, and this time, they've brought a heavy hitter as a partner: General Motors. Together, they have developed a fuel cell system that is faster, more efficient, and cheaper to produce than anything we've seen before. And they've put it inside a vehicle that the entire world already knows and trusts. Meet the all-new CR-V hydrogen SUV. This isn't just a facelift. It's a declaration of war against charging cables. Honda realized that for people to adopt new tech, it has to be as easy as their old car. By choosing a functional, family-favorite SUV, They are proving that hydrogen isn't just for sci-fi movies. It's for real life. This new CR-V has no petrol engine and no massive battery that takes hours to charge. Instead, it carries two high-pressure hydrogen tanks tucked safely in the rear. It generates its own electricity on the move. The result? You get the power and space of a legendary SUV with the refueling speed of a traditional car. You pull up, fill the tank in 3 to 5 minutes, and you're back on the road. No waiting, no planning your life around charging stations. But Honda added a twist that even Elon Musk's cars can't match. This SUV can actually share its power. If your house loses electricity during a storm, the CR-V can act as a mobile power station to keep your lights on and your appliances running. It's not just a car. It's a survival resource. Honda is being smart about the launch too. They are starting in regions where the infrastructure is already growing, ensuring that their drivers aren't left stranded. They aren't rushing for flashy headlines. They are building a foundation that will last for decades. This is the calm, calculated move of a master engineer. While everyone else is racing toward a battery-powered cliff, Honda has found a bridge to a truly clean future. While the world is currently locked in an electric fever, the landscape is shifting beneath our feet. For a long time, the biggest wall standing in front of hydrogen cars was the lack of places to refuel. It was the classic chicken and egg problem. Why build stations if there are no cars? And why buy cars if there are no stations? But now that wall is crumbling. This isn't just about California or Japan anymore. We are witnessing a global infrastructure explosion. Japan has officially made hydrogen a cornerstone of its national energy policy. Germany is aggressively building a massive hydrogen network to power heavy transport. Even China, the world's largest automotive market, is pouring billions into hydrogen for buses, taxis, and heavy-duty trucks. Governments are realizing that as clean as EVs seem, they have a massive electricity problem. In many regions, the power grid is already screaming under the pressure. During peak summer months, residents are often asked not to charge their cars because the grid simply cannot handle the load. Demand is skyrocketing, but our ability to generate and distribute that much electricity isn't keeping pace. Then there is the dirty secret of the battery industry: lithium and cobalt. These materials are rare, expensive, and mining them causes irreparable damage to the environment and local communities. The recycling process for massive EV batteries is still a logistical and environmental nightmare that we haven't solved. Hydrogen bypasses these traps. It doesn't demand rare earth metals, and it doesn't put a single ounce of strain on the local power grid. Most importantly, we can now produce green hydrogen, using nothing but water and renewable energy like wind and sun. Imagine your car running on fuel made from sunlight and water. No fumes, no pollution, no toxic batteries. This isn't just a dream. It's the path Honda is carving. Hydrogen's mission isn't necessarily to kill the electric car, but to solve the problems where EVs fail. Long-haul trucking, public city buses, and remote areas where building charging networks is impossible. This is where hydrogen is the king. And the world is finally waking up to this reality. The new Honda CR-V hydrogen SUV has arrived at the perfect psychological moment. Just as people are starting to get tired of charging cables and range anxiety, Honda offers a familiar, reliable alternative that refills in minutes. But Honda's vision goes even deeper than just fuel stations. They are reinventing the very heart of the vehicle. For nearly a century, Honda has been the undisputed master of engines. They've built everything from tiny mopeds to world-dominating Formula One machines. They know how to make a machine feel alive. While other companies are throwing away a century of engineering to become battery assemblers, Honda is evolving. Their hydrogen fuel cell doesn't feel like a sterile computer on wheels. It retains that signature Honda driving soul, responsive, smooth, and powerful, but with zero emissions. By partnering with General Motors, they've managed to make these fuel cell systems smaller, more durable, and significantly cheaper than ever before. This collaboration combines decades of engine mastery with modern electric know-how. And they aren't stopping at cars. Honda is part of a massive Japanese alliance with Toyota, Mazda, and Yamaha to develop ultra-clean combustion engines that can run on hydrogen, biofuels, or even ammonia. This is the ultimate checkmate. They aren't putting all their eggs in one basket. They are giving the consumer more options, more freedom, and more reliability. While everyone else is following the crowd, Honda is defining the future. They aren't just reinventing the car. They are protecting the joy of driving for a cleaner tomorrow. The clean energy race is no longer a one-man show. It's a battle of ideas, and Honda has just played a massive hand. The era of waiting hours for a charge might be coming to an end sooner than you think. The road is open, the fuel is the most abundant element in the universe, and the technology is finally ready. The big question is, are you ready to stop plugging in and start fueling up? If this breakdown opened your eyes to the future of the car industry, make sure to hit that like button and share this with someone who thinks EVs are the only option. We are entering a new age of power, and you don't want to be left behind. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the tech that's changing our world. The future isn't just electric, it's limitless. See you in the next one.